I'm Chuck Todd. Up next on Hotline TV, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Stereotypes, the spoil system, and someone named Warner aren't going.
And I'm John Mercurio. That plus we've uncovered the genetic code for the perfect vice president, and we've done it without destroying one stem cell.
We seed parents who dream big, of honors students and artists. By supporting programs that help children learn, we help parents watch their dreams come true.
From the Watergate Building in Washington, this is Hotline TV. Now here are Hotline editors Chuck Todd and John Mercurio.
Hi everyone, I'm John Mercurio. Obviously, when discussing race, it is best to err on the side of caution and to make sweeping conclusions based on limited information. And so, armed with this bedrock principle, the Washington Post recently reported a dramatic shift in the amount of support that Barack Obama is receiving in the Democratic primary. But the question remains, Chuck, is this actually a dramatic shift, do you think? Or is this just part of the media trying to sort of overstate the racial tones of this race?
It's the media correcting itself after doing a ridiculous, awful job of buying into crappy Clinton campaign spin about the black vote in the first place.
In the tank of Obama.
No,
Listen,
but it was not this idea that somehow she was doing well with the black vote. Yeah, in December when Obama really wasn't a candidate. What I'm saying is that look, all that's happened here is that the Barack Obama announcement, which is now 2 weeks old,
went smoothly,
went well, and has seeped into the consciousness of all Democrats. And guess what? His numbers have gone up.
Sure.
And his numbers are not just going up among blacks; they're going up against probably whites, Hispanics, Chinese. Maybe even Filipinos.
I haven't seen the Chinese subsample.
And the Hawaiian subsample. I mean, but in all honesty, it's sort of the story was Obama's announcement has worked. It moved him up.
Right.
Now the question is, can he sustain it? And that's the story. I think this black vote thing, I defend the Post in this way. They had to do the story because they were part of the mainstream media that wrote this story that somehow Obama wasn't appealing to the black vote.
I think the biggest problem,
which was the initial mistake.
The silver lining, though, I think for Clinton is that her support compared to Obama's remains extremely solid. I think the Obama support, not just among blacks but among whites, is still people looking at him. I don't think people have taken enough time. They've seen his campaign. They see the way that he rolled out his campaign. It did go smoothly. He's gaining credibility, but I think there's still a level of reservation among both black and white voters about Obama, and just as much as his numbers have gone up over the past couple of weeks, they can go down.
That's right, and I've equated it this way. Look, Hillary Clinton's numbers are never going to go up. That's a problem. They're going to stay this way, and if they stay this way, she's the nominee.
How many times over the year do I have to do this?
This
is what will happen. This is going to be Hillary Clinton, and it's just a question of whether Obama or someone else can do that.
When does somebody overtake her, if they can overtake her, and maybe they can't.
I'm going to register this
trademark. Or do they do this? You don't understand football, but it's a sport that the American people love.
You don't understand. Never mind.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton is
a lot of ways I could go with
Big
that.
Ten football. And Big Ten football means it's unwatchable, it's not interesting, but it's mistake-free. She doesn't make mistakes.
Are you still
and
talking?
She won't make a lot of mistakes.
Still talking about football.
Barack Obama is modern football. It's the University of Miami, Southern California, Florida State football.
Totally agree with that.
It's flashy. It can put up a lot of points, but they could make a lot of mistakes. And the fact is, if Obama's on his game, he can take this nomination from her. But if she's slow and steady, she's the tortoise here, he's the hare, and the tortoise may win this.
The person we're not even talking about in this whole conversation is John Edwards.
And
started
boy,
his campaign
they mad
in
at
New
us.
Orleans.
We dropped them in the rankings.
Started his campaign in New Orleans, talking about poverty, wanted his race to be a huge appeal to black voters. It's not happening.
Well, look, there's still a chance of one of these, but he now has to hope that Obama and Clinton, one of them flames out. It's hard to have a real, fully competitive three-way race. The media always breaks it down to two candidates. Right now it's Clinton versus Obama. Edwards is sitting there. At some point, maybe one of them flames out, and then that's where Edwards
And I think that's a big part of why there's so much attention on the Democratic race and not on the Republican race, because the media can't figure out Rudy, Mitt, and McCain.
Well, that's why we have Hotline TV. And that's why we do all
Exactly. That's why we can bring it to you to make sense.
With patronage and corruption getting some negative press lately, it's good to know that Chicago's relationship with the Daley Machine will always endure. John, is Chicago the last real vestige of machine politics?
I think the very obvious and short answer to that is abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
71% re-election. He won every ward. He won every African American ward. He beat this clerk, this city clerk person lady who's African American. Yes, he rolled over everybody. 6th term. He's going to beat his dad eventually in terms of being mayor for life.
My mother's side of the family all grew up around Chicago. And they love to always tell the jokes that you voted for the guy who's going to pick up your trash. And somehow there was always this nervousness that they would know if you didn't vote for him, the Daley Machine, because then your trash wouldn't get picked up. I mean, literally, you could spot that was always this like urban legend in Chicago with people. And I think that still pervades a little bit. Yet people half joke about it.
Right.
But it's only a half a joke.
No, I don't even think it's a half joke. I think it's absolutely true. The problem with this machine is that there's no heir apparent
Not
for
yet.
Richie
Philly
Daley.
Daley. We'll see.
We'll see. But
here's why that
there's no
machine
real
survives.
family.
I'll say this. We should stop. This machine survives for one reason. Machines die when they stop providing services.
Well, it's constituent
This
services
machine
that he's been
survives
able to.
because they still do good things. Chicago looks like a city that's getting better, not stepping back.
Yeah,
And
but
it's-
he's under investigation. His administration's hiring
Wait, somebody
practices
from
under
Chicago's
investigation.
That's not
Patrick
news.
Fitzgerald's been a little bit preoccupied with what's
That's
going
not
on in the
news.
Libby trial, but eventually
If they
he's going to
weren't
get back to his investigation in Chicago.
When was the last? You had tough mayor's races in Chicago for incumbents when like the snow didn't get plowed. It's never over corruption. It's when the snow doesn't get plowed, and that's why the Daley Machine continues.
And speaking of dynasties, it looks like the Warner name will endure in Virginia no matter what, whether it's Mark not John or John not Mark. We're gonna
Sounds like some sort of
probably
weird biblical thing that we're talking about.
eventually-
John not Mark, Mark not John, Judas not Rob. I don't know. That is right. It was reported this week that Mark Warner is considering a Virginia Senate bid. Past Mark Warner had been adamant he cannot consider number one, citing his close relationship with John Warner. John not Mark Mercurio.
John not Chuck.
John not Chuck Mercurio. What do we make of this Mark Warner? Is he bored?
Yeah, I gotta say,
Do you think he just wants back in the news?
I'm going to hold out as one of the few people who actually doesn't think he wants to. He doesn't actually think he's going to do this. I think this actually might be a lot of speculation.
Chuck Schumer?
I think it's a DSCC, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a DSCC ruse trying to get Warner, John, not Mark, out of the race, trying to get him to retire.
Scare him, yeah.
He's one of the few Senate
agree.
Republicans who hasn't 100%, 120% committed to run for re-election this year. He is 80, 82.
Right.
And I think
Agreed.
they want to try to spook him out of the race. I ultimately don't think Mark Not John runs for Senate. You heard it here first on Hotline TV.
Wow. Are you always going to do this?
I might.
Is this really?
It's good.
You're
I'm
kind of
gonna
like Prince.
perfect it.
Your name. You'll change your name to this.
Yeah.
Prince's problem was his was a static symbol. Yours will have movement.
Indeed.
It's very 21st century.
Thank you.
So if you change your name to a
Thank you
symbol.
for noticing my genius. Do you have anything to say about the Virginia Senate race?
I think it's a
or-
ruse. I think this is the one occasion.
Do they
that
cover
I
Senate
think
races
they're-
on television?
Senate
I mean,
races
on network
Nah,
television?
not anymore. It's really
Yeah, I
move
didn't
on.
think so.
Finally, today we look ahead using a complex digital imagery system.
It is
And
complex.
our wits will now attempt to construct the perfect vice presidential Frankenstein-like candidate for some White House 2008 candidates.
And once again, we go to the board.
Here's our blank slate. Okay, I'm going to give you the name of a candidate.
Go.
You're going to build the perfect
This
vice
is
president.
F-U-N-N-N.
The candidate is John McCain. Build the perfect running mate. Go.
All right, well, he's going to have to build some support. Don't have a lot of choices here, but can't go with him or him. But, God, there aren't many Republicans up here. He's going to have to build support within the Hispanic community.
Good one. Too bad that Mel Martinez is born in Cuba, but that's okay.
Why do we have no Republican choices up here that
you
were actually
do.
born in America?
Joe Lieberman's there. You can
Ah,
obviously.
fine. All right, Joe
Lieberman's,
Lieberman
you know.
will be the Senate
This is a
choice.
Republican head.
Come on.
You want a Western?
Look, he doesn't. The one thing
Bailey?
John McCain is, he's the establishment candidate. He's considered a total Washington insider. He needs some folksiness. He needs a woman with a dyed hair job and a cowboy hat on his head.
So basically, K. Bailey Martinezman.
Doesn't have to be Cuban-born Mel Martinez, but a southeastern Hispanic
I
Cuban
agree.
American would be
The
great.
values of a Westerner.
Sure. And those, what better personifies the values of a Westerner than that?
The soul of a Hispanic.
The eyes of a Hispanic.
The eyes
you
of
look into the
Hispanic.
eyes of the window to the soul.
And the mouth of a Democrat. Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
Or the mouth of a
The holier
of a,
the
of a,
mouth.
of a holier than that
sort
Democrat.
of grimace grin.
I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I want to do this. This is fun. Okay, give me a candidate.
I'm gonna give you. Pardon my pre-adolescent voice there. Barack Obama, presidential nominee
Needs
Barack
a running
Obama.
mate. Okay. He needs somebody that looks old, so we got to have a bald head.
True dat.
Yeah, with a lot of gray.
With some happy eyes.
I have very happy eyes.
That's what Sonny Perdue gives to America. He
It
gives
is.
hope and vision.
It is. It is.
He works with the Obama hope
It is.
optimism.
Catch. He needs the smoothness of a Jennifer Granholm, right? She's a smooth talker, very confident, but again, not born in America. A little bit of a problem.
A heck of a
That's
lot
okay.
more telegenic than Sonny Perdue.
I guess the bolo tie's got to go there. I'm still looking for
This
some
is
eyes.
fun. Let's do this twice.
We have a bolo tie here, and I guess we'll do Mark Warner's eyes. We don't want his hair. He's got a lot of facial issues. So
Why do we want his eyes?
We'll just do his eyes or his nose.
We need
Actually, we don't-
sort of red state appeal.
Yeah, we need a little bit. I guess we'll go with this. A little bit of experience on top, a little gray,
Sure.
smoothness, and then a little Western value.
Oh, this is great
Yay.
fun.
Okay.
All right, one more time.
Your turn. Okay,
Sorry,
ready?
you guys can go get a beer if you need to. We're going to keep playing this fun game.
I will do Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani. All right. Well, obviously, we're going to need some Western
you
appeal.
love this.
I love this woman. I love this woman. This is a
More
great
Western
game.
appeal. Rudy the New Yorker
I think he
that.
needs not necessarily a woman, but he needs some Western appeal. Obviously, he's got enough sort of glitz and glamour and show business. He also might want to incorporate some of this Barack Obama, some of the sort of. He needs to once he's gotten past the primary and he's won the nomination. He needs to find a way to talk about politics in a broader way, about this sort of new brand of politics, redefining
All right.
partisanship in America. He needs to do what Barack Obama is trying to do, I think, right now. And finally, in trying to do that as well, I think I think you bring in sort of that holier than thou sort of.
There it is, the New York, Connecticut
beyond
ticket.
the new democratic politics.
All right. One more. We can do one more, and then I think our producers are going to cut us off here.
Yeah.
This is too much fun. Okay, what's next?
I would go with Hillary Clinton.
All right, well, we're going to start here with a little Hollywood. She obviously loves the Hollywood, and since she's used
What's
to
better than a Hollywood with a cut lip?
because remember, Bill Clinton gave one of his best State of the Unions when he had that sort of weird lippy issue. So, maybe a running mate having a weird lip issue is a good thing. So we'll start with that.
Lip issue. Hollywood with a lip issue.
I think we definitely want Florida and the Hispanic vote.
I want Florida and the Hispanic
So
vote.
this idea, that's not a bad. And then she definitely is going to want Mark Warner's
She needs
hair.
some red state.
Yeah, she needs a little bit. So actually, we'll do this. She just wants Mel Martinez's nose.
Does she want any Westerners?
I think you always wear the bolo tie.
Sure.
And I think you do it. You do what you can there.
Whether you're Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama.
And that is, and you might actually take Warner's hair and put Obama's eyes. And maybe if you could give the lippy guy a bit, this might be better to go with the beard. It's a little crunchier and things like that.
We don't know whose hair this is.
We-
If
so we
anybody
haven't
can
used
call us and tell us whose
Let
hair
us know
this
whose hair.
is.
It's clearly not John's.
It is not mine.
And mine, it's
No.
a good hair. It might be mine. It
Oh,
is
it's
nice
like on the tip
hair.
of my, I can picture the
It
guy.
is nice hair.
All right.
We've got to get out of the segment.
Hey! There's the 2-minute warning. Let's move right along.
Move right along.
All right, you go.
Oh, Tom Ridge said he repeatedly warns, unquote, his GOP friends not to underestimate Hillary Clinton's appeal. John, why can't Ridge stop warning people?
Because he's like, he is one of the most famous
Voted, I know.
former future presidents. And
I
so
know. It's so sad.
I used to be someone and yeah.
He and Gary Hart ought to start an institute.
Oh, and Al Gore, too. I'm a most famous future former president. Well, if Bono and The Gap can't convince you to wear red, clearly there is nothing your fellow jurors can do. Chuck, did that Libby juror have what was coming to her? This
tell
poor
you,
woman.
Totally ostracized. They were looking for any reason to get rid of this person. She clearly was the one hogging the Chinese food during the lunch.
Yeah, what's your joke?
That's all I got.
I thought.
You got something better?
No, but that was your joke.
That's
Valentine.
fun.
Oh my God, what's better than the Valentine? The
Oh,
juror
you want to
who
do
wouldn't
some
wear red.
stupid? You want to do some stupid reference to Libby and Judith Miller and aspen flowers? Or leaves
No, but there you go. That's
changing.
yours.
The White House
No,
and
you
Congress
took all
are
the credit
apparently
for that.
considering video-on-demand government channel. John, wouldn't it be easier for the government to just acquire CBS? Hello.
Only if they fire Katie Couric.
Oh,
Go.
wow!
Kay.
I can't make those jokes.
You
That was
can
him.
because it's not. Really
I have a VP
serious.
of Standards and Practices to. Clearly,
Romney
not
is
here.
offering to pay supporters to help him at CPAC this weekend. Chuck, how much is Romney offering the supporters for one night with their wives?
Whoa! Hello. Oh, man.
Indecent proposal.
I hear you. If it could win him a straw vote, let's move on. Thank God
If
that's
you could win
the
a
buzzer.
straw vote. You get that one?
We're out of here today. And I'm Chuck Todd.
And
Thanks
I'm-
for watching Hotline TV.
I'm John Mercurio. We'll see you Monday.
No, that's your new name, remember? I assumed that's how you were just signing
I was
off.
going to sign off on that. Yeah.
Isn't that your new sign-off?
Sure, that'd
All
be
right.
good. The
One more week, thank God.
editor formerly known as